do a demonstration of the movie technique. And you, when we were talking before about trauma,
Yes.
And I talked about the characteristics of trauma, and when I said powerlessness,
Yes.
something was triggered in you immediately, and,
Yes.
and you can feel that already coming
Absolutely.
up. All right. So where are you feeling that in your body?
In the throat.
In the throat.
Yeah,
All right.
mainly.
So I just want us to generally work on that feeling of powerlessness first before we get into the movie technique. All right.
I accept myself
Deeply and completely.
deeply and completely.
I've got this feeling of powerlessness,
I got this feeling of powerlessness,
and I feel it in my throat,
and I feel it in my throat,
and I'm letting my body know
and I'm letting my body know
I'm safe now,
I'm safe now,
and it's time to release this powerless feeling.
and it's time to release this powerless feeling.
I accept myself deeply and completely.
I accept myself deeply and completely.
Even though I've still got some powerless feeling in my throat,
Even though I've got still some powerless feeling in my throat,
I accept myself
I accept myself
and the way my body's been protecting me.
and the one this
feeling of powerlessness.
this feeling of powerlessness.
I feel it in my throat,
I feel it in my throat,
letting my body know
letting my body know
that I thank it for protecting me,
that I thank it for protecting me,
that it's time to process and release it now.
but it's time to process and release it now.
Releasing this feeling of powerlessness
Releasing this feeling of powerlessness
out of my throat.
out of my throat.
This feeling of powerlessness,
This feeling of powerlessness,
I let it go.
I let it go.
I choose to have peace in my throat.
I choose to have peace in my throat.
Okay, so how does that feel?
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
All right. So when you did have this feeling of powerlessness before, did it bring up a particular memory?
Not in the past, but when you spoke before as an introduction, I was thinking about an incident I've been told I haven't experienced. I can't remember it.
All right.
Do you want
All
me
right. So when you remember that experience
Yeah.
of being told,
to?
all right, so
Yes.
that's the memory that we'll go to because that will hold some trauma for you. All right. Just give it a title of that memory.
The train.
The train. All right. So when you think of that title, the train, where do you feel that in your body?
In my stomach.
All right. Even though I've got this feeling in my stomach,
Even though I got this feeling in my stomach.
when I think about the train movie,
When I think about the train movie,
I accept myself
I accept myself
and my stomach
and my stomach
deeply and completely.
deeply and completely.
Even though I've still got this feeling in my stomach,
Even though I still got this feeling in my stomach,
when I think about the train,
when I think about the train,
I accept myself
I accept myself
and my body
and my body
and let my stomach know
and let my stomach know
it's safe to release this.
it's safe to release this.
Even though I've still got some feeling in my stomach,
Even though I still got some feeling in my stomach,
when I think about the train movie,
when I think about the train movie,
I accept myself.
my stomach,
I can feel it in my stomach.
I can feel it in my stomach.
When I think about the train,
When I think about the train,
releasing this feeling in my stomach,
releasing this feeling in my stomach,
thanking my stomach for protecting me
thanking my stomach for protecting me
all this time. But I'm safe now,
But I'm safe now,
and I can release that feeling in my stomach.
and I can release that feeling in my stomach.
It's time to process it and release it.
It's time to process it and release it.
This feeling in my stomach,
This feeling in my stomach,
when I think about the train.
when I think about the train.
Okay, so take a deep breath. So when you think about the train, the movie title, The Train now, how's that feeling in your body?
Much better.
So when you focus on it in your stomach, has it gone right down?
Half.
About half? So what's the feeling that remains there in the stomach? Can you describe it anymore?
It's a knot.
A knot.
Yeah.
Right. Even though I've got this remaining knot in my stomach,
Even though I've got this remaining knot in my stomach,
when I think about the train movie,
when I think about the train movie,
I accept myself
I accept myself
and my stomach
and my stomach
deeply and completely.
deeply and completely.
Even though I've still got this remaining knot in my stomach,
Even though I've still got this remaining knot in my stomach,
when I think about the train movie,
when I think about the train movie,
I accept myself
I accept myself
and let my stomach know
and let my stomach know
it's safe to process and release this feeling.
it's safe to process and release this feeling.
This remaining knot in my stomach.
This remaining knot in my stomach.
I choose to process and release it.
I choose to process and release it.
Even when I remember the train movie.
Even when I remember the train movie.
This knot in my stomach.
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 My stomach's been holding on to the memory.
My stomach has been holding on to the memory.
This train movie memory.
This train movie memory.
Releasing the knot out of my stomach.
Releasing the knot out of my stomach.
Seeing the knot unraveling.
Seeing the knot unraveling.
Feeling it unraveling.
Feeling it unraveling.
Out of my stomach.
Out of my stomach.
I choose to have peace in my stomach.
I choose to have peace in my stomach.
When I think about the train movie.
When I think about the train movie.
Feeling peace in my stomach.
Feeling peace in my stomach.
So take a deep breath. So when you think about the train movie now, just the title,
Yeah.
how's that feeling in your stomach?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you think about the train movie now, has that come all the way down?
Yes.
Okay. So when we want to start at a neutral place of going into this train movie, what's a neutral place that you can start at?
Probably from the platform.
Okay. So here you are standing on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
What happens next?
I enter the train
And are you there by yourself or who?
with my mother and my mother's friend, and I'm a baby.
You're a baby?
Mm-hmm.
So how old is a baby?
7 months.
7 months,
Mhm.
okay. All right. And so is this your memory or is this what you've been told of
What
the
I've
memory?
been told.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what you've been told of the memory,
Mm-hmm.
what we're dealing with then is your imagined state of the memory, okay,
Yeah. Mhm.
of the train.
Mhm.
All right. So you're a baby
Yes.
and you're there with your mother and a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what's coming up for you now as you're saying that, getting on the train with your mother and a friend and you're a
I
baby?
feel safe.
Feel safe?
Mhm.
Okay. So what's next?
The train starts rolling and we travel, I think, to Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
And way down on the way, a person comes into the compartment
Mm-hmm.
and grabs me
Okay, so where are you feeling that in your body?
in my stomach
In my stomach
and in my throat.
and in my throat. I've got this feeling in my stomach and my throat
I got this feeling in my stomach and my throat
when I think about that man grabbing me as a baby,
when I think about this man grabbing me as a baby,
and I let my body know
and I let my body know
it's time to release that feeling.
it's time to release that feeling.
I'm safe.
I'm safe.
Even though I've still got this feeling
Even though I still got this feeling
in my stomach and my throat,
in my stomach and in my throat,
when I see that man taking me as a baby
when I see that man taking me as a baby
on the train,
on the train,
I accept myself
I accept myself
and this feeling
and this feeling
and let my body know
and let my body know
it's safe to release it now.
it's safe to release it now.
I am safe.
I am safe.
This feeling in my throat
This feeling in my throat
and my stomach
and in my stomach,
when I imagine
when I imagine
that man taking me as a baby
that man taking me as a baby
on the train,
on the train,
releasing the feeling out of my throat and my stomach,
releasing the feeling out of my throat and in my stomach,
all that trauma,
all that trauma,
all that powerlessness
all that powerlessness
out of my throat and my stomach.
out of my throat and my stomach.
I'm safe.
I'm safe.
Releasing that feeling
Releasing that feeling
out of my throat and my stomach,
out of my throat and my stomach,
all that powerlessness.
all that powerlessness.
And that man took me as a baby on the train.
When that man took me as a baby on that train,
Feeling peace in my body.
feeling peace in my body.
I am safe.
I'm safe.
Take a deep breath. So going back,
Mm-hmm.
you're on the platform,
Yeah.
you're getting on the train with your mum and her friend,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's a man on the train
Mhm.
that takes you as a baby.
Mm-hmm.
What are you feeling in your body now?
I'm okay.
What happened after that?
He, so I've been told, he opened the window and threatened to throw me out of the window if my mother and her friend would do anything the police was after him. He was escaped, had escaped from the prison, and but my mother put the emergency brakes. So and I don't know what happened with me.
So when you say all that story, then
Yeah.
was it coming up for you in your body, that emotion anywhere, that powerlessness?
No, it's not there anymore.
So I was watching you carefully to see if any of that came up, but it didn't seem to.
No.
All right, so when you think about now the powerlessness your mother might have felt, because you would have been tuned into that as a baby as
Yes.
well. Is any of that coming up?
It's still a bit there.
Whereabouts?
In my stomach.
In your stomach. And can you describe that feeling in your stomach?
It's like a fist.
A fist, yeah. So even though I've still got this fist, feeling in my stomach, when I tune into the feeling my mother had, being on the train, seeing her baby being snatched, and threatened to be thrown out the window, and I feel her powerlessness, I accept myself deeply and completely. I still have this feeling of a fist in my stomach, and maybe it was even that man's fist.
Yes, and it was even that man's fist.
When I tune into the feeling of powerlessness, that my mother might have had, when she saw her baby, being snatched by that man, and being threatened to be thrown out the window, I release her powerless feeling, that I connected to, out of my stomach, and out of hers, and I accept myself, deeply and completely. My body's held this feeling of a fist, in my stomach, and it's time to release it. Processing that powerless feeling, out of my body, my stomach, and my mother's. We were both so connected, as mothers and babies are. I felt her powerlessness, like a fist in my stomach, and like a fist in her stomach, and I release it from both of us. We're both safe. Releasing that powerless feeling, like a fist in my stomach, and my mother's. We both deserve peace, and I choose to have peace. So what colour's peace in your stomach of you and your mother? Just imagine what colour that peace is.
Blue.
Blue angel. Safety and peace. Safety and protection. So hold on to that, the vibration of that blue. Alright, and just breathe that in. I choose to feel that blue safety and protection. As I breathe it into my energy. And I send it to my stomach. Dissolving any remaining fist or knot. And I send it to my mother. Way back then. In time, space and place. Knowing that she'll receive it. And feel that peace. As she sees that man. Holding her baby. Up, threatening to throw her out of the window. She's now receiving that peace. And safety and protection. And she knows that everything will be okay. Feeling that peace. That blue peace. In my stomach. And my mother's. Letting her know energetically. She can release the trauma.
She can release the trauma.
And the powerlessness.
And the powerlessness.
Out of her stomach.
Out of her stomach.
And feel that peace.
And feel that peace.
That safety.
That safety.
That protection.
That protection.
Everything's okay.
Everything is okay.
It all works out okay.
It all works out okay.
So how's that? When you think about that and tune into your mum.
Mm-hmm.
So back at the start.
Yes.
You're on the platform.
Yes.
There's your mum and her friend.
Yes.
Getting on the train with you as a baby.
Mm-hmm.
What happens next?
We start with our journey, and further down the track, this man comes in, and he snatches me from my mother, and he threatens to throw me out of the window if my mother and her friend would do anything. And first nothing happens, but then my mother gets up and pulls the emergency brakes. I fall into the opposite seat, but I'm safe because I have blankets around me.
Mm-hmm. Anything coming up when you're saying that?
No. And the conductor comes, and they knew that this person was on the train. They have been looking for him, and they take him away.
Great. So you helped catch somebody. See how there's no trauma in that whole story now. And when you tune into your mother's feeling of all of that, of her seeing that man snatch the baby and threaten to throw her out the window.
No, I can't see. She's calm. Yeah, she's calm.
Cool. Excellent.
Yeah.
So that's the movie technique.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, you're welcome.